In this video, we're going to talk about box and whisker plots. Now, the reason why they're called box and whisker plots is because they look like a box and whisker. Here's your box, and here is your whisker. Now, we're going to talk about the vocab first, and then we're going to talk about constructing it. So your minimum value is your lowest value in your data, so that is 2 right here, because it goes down here. Your maximum value is the highest number in your data, so that's 38. Now, we know for certain 3 points for sure. We know the minimum, the maximum, and the median. So remember, the median is the middle of your data. So this data right here is 24. Now, the big thing that you need to note is that this breaks up into quartiles. So if you look at these Q's right here, they stand for this word quartile. Now, some of you may be thinking, hey, that looks a whole lot like quarter. That's because it does stand for a quarter, which is a fourth. So what's happening here is we polled a bunch of people, okay? And we asked them, so I'm just going to ask something, how many hours did you, or how many minutes did you spend playing on a video game? I don't know, just making it up, okay? So what we're saying is 25% of our data, 25% said that they spent between 2 and 10 minutes playing a video game. The next 25% of our data, 10 to 24, spent 10 to 24 minutes playing our video game. 25% of our data spent between 24 and 30 minutes playing a video game. And then the last 25% of our data spent between 30 and 38 minutes playing the video game. So all of these mean your first quarter, here's your 1/4 of your data, your second quarter, which is your median, which is your half, so 2/4 is a half, and your third quarter of your data. So that's where all of this comes from. We can find range, and we can also find interquartile range. This means between the quartiles. So basically, it's the range between quartile 3 minus quartile 1. That's what equals our interquartile range, our between the quartiles. So it's between this point right here and this point. Some of you may have noticed, hey, that's the box. Excellent. It is the range of the box in our box and whisker. So we're going to construct some. It's going to be a lengthy video today, so I apologize beforehand, but I'd rather you have this to go back and study it than not have it and not be able to study it. Alright, the first step in constructing a box plot is the number of points made by each player on the basketball team are shown below. The first thing is you must organize your data from least to greatest. That's the first thing. Now, this is very, very smushed, so here's what I'm going to do actually. I'm going to erase this and write this up here. You do not want to do any of your data right here. We're going to be drawing a box there, so do not put your data right there. So I'm going to rewrite this, organize from least to greatest. Okay. So we find our least, so here's a 3, comma. We have a 7, we have a 9. So I recommend crossing them out as you go. It's just easier that way. We have a 10, and a 12, a 15, a 16, an 18, and a 24. Beautiful. Okay, your first step. So I'm going to be writing steps down here, so I'm going to make this just a teeny bit smaller so you can see my steps. So this is step 1. Step 2, split in half. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do, and look at my data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 data points. So actually I can't split this perfectly in half. So what I'm going to do is, here's my lower half, 4 sets of data. Here's my upper half, upper half. So upper half, lower half. The lower set of data. And you notice there's a nice, beautiful, pretty median. That's so nice. All right, so this is our quartile 2. So what you need to do is label all your quartiles. Now looking here in the lower half, there are 4 data points here. That doesn't help me because I need a quartile. Quartile 1 is just the median of your lower half. So I have 2 medians. So remember, when you have 2 medians, you just find the middle of that. So that means quartile 1 is equal to 8, because 8 is right in the middle right there. The second thing that you're going to look for is over here again. Your quartile 3 is the median of your upper half. So again, I have a 17 right in the middle. So now I have all my points. So I'm going to label this down here. So we're going to, first off, notice that they don't give us any numbers. So we're going to create our numbers. So I'm just going to start over here. I'm going to create a couple dashes because I just am shy. So I'm just going to create just a couple more just to make this work. 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way over to 24. Alright, so what we're going to do now that I have all my numbers there, we're going to plot each of our vocab words. So again, I'm going to write down my steps down here because I have not been doing that as I've gone through this. So as you see down here, so step 3 was find the quartiles, which we already have done. And now we're going to plot our 5 vocab words. Now the place I recommend starting is your median because it's your nice central middle point right here. So I'm going to plot my 12. So what we're going to do is actually plot the box first. Alright, so the next thing, and I'm going to draw a little line through that, and you're going to see why in just a second. I'm going to plot an 8 right here for my first quartile, and I'm going to plot my third quartile over here at my 17. So notice I've plotted quartile 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to connect all my lines together, and now I have the box of my data. Then I'm going to plot my maximum, which is over here at 24. And I'm going to connect quartile 3 dot to maximum. And then I'm going to plot my minimum dot over here and connect that to the box. So here's what this is saying right here. The bulk of your data is right here in your box. Okay? 50%, because 25% and 25% equals 50% of your data is right there. Your lower extreme right here is 25%, and your upper extreme right here is 25%. So that's what this is saying. The bulk of your data is between 8 and 17. Alright, in this one we're going to do, the other one was an odd set of data. This one is an even set of data. So I'm going to show you, kind of break this down and show you what to do with this. So again, step 1, organize least to greatest. Now that my data is all organized, the second step is to split it in half. So if you notice right here, I have a nice, pretty half set of data. So unfortunately, we don't have a clear median because there's not a 1 number in the middle. So we treat it just like we did the quartiles at the other problem. I'm going to circle the 2 medians. So quartile 2 is 15 because that 15 is going to be right there in the middle. I'm going to do the same thing with my quartile 1. So I look at my lower half. Your lower half is 6, 10, 12, and 14. So that means your quartile 1 is going to be right here at 11. Same thing in the upper half. Your upper half is 16, 18, 20, and 24. So that means your quartile 3 will be these 2, which is 19. So it's pretty much the exact same thing. You just have to be able to circle the correct data. So now, looking at the number line down here, thankfully they gave us all of our numbers, so we don't have to plot anything. So we're just going to plot our data real quick. So again, start with your median. It's just the nice one to start with, starting with your box where the bulk of your data is. So your median is at 15. Draw a line. Your lower quartile, or quartile 1, is at 11. Your upper quartile, or quartile 3, is at 19. Here's your box. Your minimum was at 6, so I'm going to draw my box here. Your maximum is at 24. Now the one thing I want to notice I did not use 5 and I did not use 25. It is okay. Your range is, your spread is still 6 to 24. It is not, this is not 5 to 25. Just because your number line says numbers doesn't mean it's part of your data. So be careful with that. If your number line doesn't use those data down there, it's okay. They just made it so that it would be nice, pretty, rounded, no unused lines. So that's how you construct data or box and whisker plots. We're going to be talking about how to analyze those later on.